Imagine a locked steel door, behind which lie $250 million. You have the code, but the only person who knew it has just stopped breathing. In December 2018, Gerald Cotten, the 30-year-old visionary and founder of Canada's largest crypto exchange, Quadriga CX, died suddenly in India. With his death, the passwords to the cold wallets, where the life savings of 115,000 people were stored, vanished. But here is the catch. When investigators finally breached the system, they found the wallets were empty. The money had disappeared long before Cotten's heart stopped. Was this a tragic accident or the most daring exit scam in human history? Today, we dive into the digital fog of the Quadriga CX case. We will break down the strange death, the empty vaults, and the theory that keeps thousands of investors awake at night. Is Gerald Cotten actually alive? Greetings, I'm Jin. Like and subscribe. Things are about to get interesting. Gerald Cotten did not look like a financial tyrant. With a friendly face, a soft voice, and his signature diamond-patterned sweaters, he looked like the perfect son-in-law and a reliable guardian of your assets. In 2013, when Bitcoin was still a toy for enthusiasts, he founded Quadriga CX. By 2017, at the peak of the first insane cryptocurrency rally, the exchange became the primary gateway to the world of digital gold for all of Canada. However, behind the glittering facade lay a structure that would have horrified any auditor. Quadriga CX was not a technological giant with hundreds of employees. It was a one-man theater. Cotten managed the entire exchange from his encrypted laptop, sitting in cafes or his luxurious mansion. He was the CEO, the customer support, and, most importantly, the sole guardian of the private keys. In the world of blockchain, where decentralization is a religion, Cotten created an absolute monarchy. But there was another, darker side. Cotten wasn't just storing money, he was gambling with it. As investigators would later discover, Gerald created fake accounts on his own exchange under pseudonyms like Chris Marquet. Using these accounts, he traded non-existent bitcoins against his own clients, trying to play the market. But the market proved stronger. Investigators estimate that Cotten lost tens of millions of dollars of client money on other exchanges, desperately trying to trade his way out of debt. Quadriga CX had turned into a classic Ponzi scheme. Payments to old clients were funded by the deposits of new ones. By late 2018, when the crypto market crashed, the house of cards began to wobble. Investors demanded their money back, but Cotten didn't have it. He needed an exit, and that exit was found in one of the most mysterious countries in the world. At that very moment, the Golden Boy headed to India, officially to open an orphanage. Many believe he went there to die and be born again. December 18, Jaipur, India. Gerald Cotten and his wife, Jennifer Robertson, check into the luxurious Oberoi Rajvilas Hotel. Just hours later, Cotten complains of severe abdominal pain. He is rushed to a private clinic where doctors diagnose complications from Crohn's disease, a chronic condition Gerald had lived with for years. 24 hours later, the official report records his death from septic shock. This is where the territory of the strange begins. First, Cotten's death was kept a secret for over a month. While investors continued to deposit money into the exchange, the widow had already returned to Canada and was handling inheritance matters. Second, Cotten's will was signed just 12 days before the trip. In it, he detailed exactly who would get his planes, yachts, real estate, and even funds for the care of his dogs, but not a single word on how to access the $250 million of his clients' money. Indian bureaucracy is a paradise for those who wish to disappear. Cotten's death certificate contained errors in the spelling of his last name. The body was embalmed in a local hospital and sent back to Canada in a closed casket. No independent witnesses or business partners saw Cotten dead. When the news of his death was finally posted on the Quadriga CX Facebook page, the crypto community exploded. People didn't believe in coincidences. A young billionaire, the sole owner of the keys, dies in a country where you can buy any certificate, exactly when his company is on the brink of bankruptcy. It looked like a perfectly executed exit scam. Users began their own investigations, trying to track the movement of funds on the blockchain. They waited for Cotten's wallets to speak. They hoped the death was just a cover, but the reality proved even more sinister. When cybersecurity experts from Ernst & Young finally gained access to Gerald's laptop and cold wallets, they found a void that had no rational explanation. The world of cryptocurrency is transparent. Every transaction leaves a footprint on the blockchain. Investigators expected to see massive sums on the Quadriga CX cold addresses, simply locked away due to the missing passwords. But when they identified the wallets associated with the exchange, they were met with a shock. The money was gone. The majority of the bitcoins had been transferred to other exchanges months and even years before Cotton's death. Gerald used client funds as his personal gambling bank. He moved Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin to platforms like Binance and Bitfinex, where he opened risky positions with high leverage. He bet other people's lives and lost. It turned out that Quadriga CX had been insolvent for a long time. At the time of his death, the exchange had no cold storage in the traditional sense. There was only the illusion of wealth, maintained by the website's interface. But where did the final remnants go? Analysts discovered strange movements of funds immediately after rumors of trouble surfaced. Someone with access to the system was trying to cover their tracks. This birthed a new wave of theories. If the wallets were empty, it meant Cotton knew the end was near. His death became the perfect completion of the crime. No body, no keys. No keys, no evidence of theft. Gerald's widow, Jennifer, claimed she knew nothing of her husband's machinations. She voluntarily surrendered assets worth $12 million to pay off debts, but it was just a drop in the ocean. The most terrifying revelation came when studying the identity of the exchange's co-founder, Michael Patron. It turned out that under this name hid Omar Danani, a man previously convicted in the US for identity theft and involvement in carding schemes. A professional fraudster was at the origins of Canada's largest exchange. This discovery finally destroyed any faith in a tragic accident. Investors demanded the exhumation of Cotton's body to ensure he was actually in the casket. They wanted to know if they were watching a grand performance, staged by a master of disguise who is now sipping cocktails on a private island while the blockchain guards his secret. The story of Gerald Cotton is not just a story of lost money. It is a parable of how old sins find new life in the digital world. Was Cotton a sociopathic manipulator, or just a guy who got in over his head and couldn't handle the responsibility? And, most importantly, is he actually dead? The theory that Cotton is alive remains one of the most debated in the crypto world. Supporters of this version point out that Cotton was obsessed with anonymity and security. He studied ways to change his identity. He had the means, the motivation, and the perfect plan. In India, thousands of fake death certificates are issued every year. For a man with millions in Bitcoin, faking his own death is simply a matter of price. Perhaps he underwent plastic surgery and is now living under a different name in a country with no extradition treaty. On the other hand, if he is dead, his passing is the ultimate irony. A man who wanted to control everything ultimately lost control of his own life at the worst possible moment. He left behind ruins and the shattered lives of thousands who believed in a new financial freedom, only to receive a 404 error on their screens. The Quadriga CX case changed the industry forever. It became the main reason why regulators worldwide began to tighten the screws. The phrase, "not your keys, not your coins," became the ultimate rule of survival. Today, Quadriga's accounts are still under surveillance. Every movement of a dusty Bitcoin that once passed through Cotton's laptop causes a panic online. Gerald Cotton either became a victim of his own system or its greatest victor. But in the world of blockchain, there is no room for faith. There is only mathematics. And that mathematics tells us one thing. $250 million vanished into a digital singularity, and the man who held the keys to it went offline forever. Or he simply changed his login. What do you think? Did Cotton become a digital ghost, or is he just another victim of his own greed? Leave your theories in the comments. In a world where data lives forever, the truth always seeks a way to the surface.